Welcome back, everybody, or welcome if you're new. Today we're in the Arca Menards Series here at Richmond. Car number 2 here out of 16. Pretty good size field. Oh wait, I need to change my steering ratio and stuff. I didn't do that when I got in here. I need to do that. I like 12 to 1 and then about like 70 on the brake bias. That's what I like in these cars, because these cars get very squirrely very quick. And you have to be careful on the throttle on cold tires. Cold tires are awful. It takes a few laps in the race or just running around to get good heat in them, and then you're not sliding around too badly. The qualifying is going to be interesting here on cold tires, because it likes to get very loose. You got to wait so long to get full throttle in these cars. I like to go in a little bit high into turn 1 and get like a low exit and go all the way out to the wall. That was not very good. Okay, I am squirrely as hell. Okay, this lap ain't gonna mean shit. That's what I mean by these cars get very squirrely. I'm surprised I was able to save that. Let's try to make this second lap count at least. That first lap was a throwaway at that point. Fastest I've ran so far was like a 22.378, which is not pretty bad. I like that kind of time. I'm hoping I can get into the 4s in qualifying, and not the 5s, because these cars are very squirrely. Got to a 4:52. I'm happy about that. Able to get that run off for that second lap at least, because that first lap was almost bad. That first lap I about killed it. He got a 4:20 nice. The 8 car ran a 3:40 in the last practice, and I ran a 3:78, something like that. I believe he did. But, dang, he ran a 2:91 on these cold tires. That's crazy. He is really pushing it. That is flying. But you really just got to be consistent in this car. Just like the late models I ran yesterday. You got to be careful on the throttle. It's more on throttle than on brake. You can definitely mess up on braking and it'll get loose, but it's more getting on the gas coming off the corners. But so far we're third. Hopefully we could stick around there. That'd be great, and try to conserve our tires for the race. 45 lap race, no caution. So I'll pick you guys back up and we're about to go green. All right, well, it looks like we stayed in third. That's pretty good. I'm happy about that. It's going to be terrifying being up front here, just because I don't want to get ran over by anybody behind me going into these corners. Some people really overdrive these corners. They take like the wrong angle. Some people on this front stretch like to go real low when you need to stay up by the wall and get the nice turn in off the top. But a lot of people go in real low and then drift all the way up the corner and come back down. It's just a lot slower. But I like the high angle going into turn 1, and then kind of like a lower angle coming into 3, and get the run off of 4 coming out all the way to the wall. Since the front stretch is really curved, you could really try to keep the car straight and get down on the power coming off of 4. The thing is, the middle lane might actually work a decent amount trying to get around somebody later in the race when your tires are worn out, because then you could really pinch them down there and make them have to turn a little bit more, and then their car is going to get a little loose on them. That's what was happening a lot in practice. So it'll be interesting to see how this race goes. Just hoping we could race pretty well. I'm actually gonna take the fuel and everything off of the car just in case we get wrecked or something and have to use our fast repair, because this is the kind of track that we would have to use it on, because since it's the D-class race, they give you 1 fast repair. Might as well use it if you get a chance to, instead of just wrecking out the race early, with there being no cautions here. But hopefully we could have a pretty good race and not have to use it. I'm hoping to do something similar that I did in the late model race at USA. Just kind of conserve my tires and later in the race make a run at the leader. And then if I can get into the lead, that'd be amazing, and not choke it. Because I choked it in the late model race. Got the lead for like a lap and then overdrove turn 1, about wrecked it, but able to save it and stay right with the leader, but finish second. It was a good race. I can't even be mad about it. I just fucked up myself. But this race is another track where you can really mess yourself up coming off these corners. It's so hard to save them. I'm surprised I saved it in qualifying, because it got so sideways on me. It like started going out on me real quick. So I'm hoping we can get a pretty good race in. Not do that. Once it gets to lap like 4, 5, that's when the tires get a good amount of heat in them and you can kind of start driving a little bit easier off the corners. You still have to be careful the whole race, because if you put the power down a little too much while turning, it will spin out on you regardless. But once you get to lap 4 or 5, it gets a little easier to drive. The fact is, you just have to get there first. Because that was the hardest thing to learn when I was doing practice. The first couple laps I came out, you had to be real careful on the tires. I'm surprised I ran as fast as I did in qualifying. But at least we're right behind the leader. Hopefully we can get a pretty good start here. This 8 car is fast. A lot of guys around me are quick. Bunch of guys in the 4s and stuff. Careful getting up through the gears, because you might get a little bit of tire spin. Don't want to come up too much on these guys. Oh, second place already spun. Second place got in too hot, tried to turn down. But he's gone. Try not to get on the gas too hard off these corners for the first few laps. These guys are going to try to dive me and stuff, which is fine. I'll just stick this outside. Let them burn up their tires if they want to. But use up all the track you can at this place. Keep the car straight. Get as much speed as you can. Yeah, they like to go real hard into turn 1, which is fine. And he spun under me. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You go too hard, you're going to spin out. And don't get into the wall. That wall will catch you, and you will be stuck on it for most of the straightaway.
God
it really
damn
sucks.
It, Warren. You're a fucking treacherous dude.
Y'all were wrecking for about half a lap there.
Everybody's going so hard in the beginning. You got to be careful on cold tires. You really do.
I've been dodging the whole race.
It's been like 3 laps. It was weird, the very beginning of the race, I saw the 6 car, I thought he was the 5 for a second. 6 car up here, he was going like all the way out to the wall in turn 1. I don't know if he was just overdriving it or what he was doing, but he was just going all the way out to the wall. I don't know if he was just trying to get through the first couple laps high on turn 1, because it's has more grip up there. I'm not sure. It's a lot slower, but maybe he was just trying to get heat in the tires for the first couple laps and not go too low. Because turn 1 is definitely easier to spin through than 3 and 4 in my opinion. Because the turn off of turn 2 is so much tighter because the wall doesn't curve out.
Just so anyone knows, Alt F4, if you overcorrect, if you hit Alt F4 real quick, it'll get you out of there.
Yeah, that would take you all the way out the game. Big piece of debris on the backstretch. Don't like the angle I'm going into this corner. Just gotta get on the brakes a little earlier, stay low. Be careful on the exit because I was turning so much through there. Now we're kind of in the situation we were in yesterday in the late model race. This in second place, behind, not too far behind the leader. So hopefully we can conserve our tires a little bit.
Really, 11? Really?
Not do too bad.
Careful when you come up in front of me, dude. I don't know when you're gonna get off. I'm driving deeper into the corner than you are.
Yeah, if you're behind someone though, you gotta adjust for it.
You just switch it over kind of.
If you're straight behind somebody going on the straightaway, you gotta adjust. You can't just go and do your line because their line might be different. Okay, 5 car was real slow through 1 and 2 there. Not even like trying to drive too hard right now. I'm just driving my line and starting to catch him. He might be trying to be real conservative on his tires right now. Maybe he got a little sideways or something that I couldn't see. Maybe he felt it in the car getting sideways. With his lap car up here, it's going to be interesting. Lap car might be on new tires as well. He might have just came out of the pits, so be careful of that. Ooh, leader's in the wall. Messed up his angle going in the corner. He got a pretty good exit though. I kind of use the stars on the wall for my braking zones for the most part, if you guys haven't really noticed yet. Like the front, I use like the second to last one on both of these. Like the front stretch, that second one right there. And then back stretch, it's kind of hard to see exactly. Oh, he's sideways. The back stretch one's harder to see because the straight wall, a lot harder to see. That lap car made it a little difficult to get around, but he stayed high at least. That's why I bumped the brake bias up a little bit to 70, so it doesn't get too squirrely on me when I go to brake. I can kind of just ease on the brakes a little bit and it would just roll more, which is what I like. We're running pretty well. Happy about that. I'm happy the two oval races I've done this week were harder to drive setups, like looser setups, which I like, because it really makes you have to drive the car and be patient on the throttle and brake, and careful on the wheel, because you really don't want to jerk it around too much. He had a good line through 1 and 2 there. Pulling away from third a little bit. Trying to get a run off these corners with my lines. But you can see his line in 1 and 2. It's practically the same as mine. He stays a little bit higher than I do, I feel like. But he's getting really good runs off the straightaway. I went a little too high there. Into 3. A little higher than I like to. Don't get in the wall. That wall will hurt you a lot. It doesn't really like hurt your car. It will just hurt your time on the track, and it's hard to get off. Because it really like suction cups you into the wall, and you really have to pull off, and your car goes way down the track. It's not fun. You got to be careful if somebody does that in front of you, because they're probably going to pull off the wall and go way down the track. Starting to pull on me some now. You really don't want to hit the apron here. The apron will spin you out in a heartbeat. Might have been getting on the gas a little too early in 3 and 4 beforehand, because I waited for it to rotate there and it actually felt better coming off of 4. Yeah, on and a little early there, pushed up the track, almost got the wall. That was scary. Just really trying to put as little amount of steering input as possible while turning and hitting the gas at the same time. Oh, I thought he was going to clip that wall there. He was very close to. Ooh, he got it there. He keeps making those slight mistakes. Might come back to bite him later on. Okay, then 5.
Easy.
Didn't know he was playing iRacing in the bathroom. Sitting on the toilet as a seat.
Yeah, I crossed over and got all the air to front of my nose and just put me around.
He was scraping the wall in the backstretch. He didn't get suction cupped into it, luckily for him. His back end was just barely in it. When your front end comes around and gets in the wall, that's when it's like suction cupped in, and it sucks. I did it a couple times in practice. That was a bad angle into that corner. I went in too low. Got a little sideways there. That's like the first sign of getting sideways for me like most of this race, so I'm happy with how I'm driving. I think I turned down a little too early there in that corner. Ooh, he's sideways there. I saw his tire tracks. Look at real sideways there. That's the corner I want right there. I stayed up a little higher to get that turn down. Lap car is going to make it a little hard for us to get off the corner. Bad angle into 1-2, which sucks for us, but just caught him at a bad time. Leader caught him at a good time. He let him by in the middle of the corner. But it hurt my exit and entrance for the next corner, which sucked. 7 car's starting to catch us from behind. He is flying through the field right now. Don't know exactly where he started, but he was not in 3rd before, because I remember the black car that's in 4th now is in 3rd. So he is coming up through the field right now. Yeah, I think I'm overdriving the entrance to 3 now. I need to back up my corner a little bit more. Seven car might have saved his tires a ton or something, I'm not sure. Yeah, it felt better in that corner. And 3 and 4 backing it up a little bit. My car did not want to rotate that time. In the middle of 1 and 2, it was just kind of like stiff, it was tight. Turned in too early. Backing up the corner, I need to not brake too hard early on. Seven car is definitely catching this though. He's getting bigger and bigger in my mirror. I'm happy with how he drove. Lap 32 already.
Really?
Driving pretty smooth. Running up front.
I hope not, man.
I'm happy there hasn't been too many spin outs in front of me at all.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, you wrecked me. That's why you're even like, I mean, come on.
Low one on the
I didn't
bottom.
want the guy behind me.
Oh, it just gets old 3 times? Come on.
Okay, got by him before the
Is this where
corner.
I insert my farting laughing emoji?
It just makes it like not fun to race with people like him.
Lap car holding up the leader a little bit. A lot of it actually. Holy shit, I caught him a lot. That was a good 3 and 4 as well for me. I felt really good in that corner. That lap car held him up a ton. Or he just slowed up too much for him. He pulled right back away in 1 and 2. He is really good off of 2. I think my tires have just gone a little bit too much. Or just a little bit too gone. Because I'm not the best at conserving tires. My thing was just try not to get sideways in this track. And I think that was me trying to conserve tires, is not get sideways. But I might have burnt out the front right a little bit. Because if you drive with the right rear, your front right gets saved a little bit. But the back right will get destroyed, and it's scary driving like that. Third place is actually getting held up a little bit from that lap car. I think he's on his inside now, it looks like. Yeah, my front end's tight through 2 now. Might have burnt out my front right tire like I was saying. Mentioned it to see what my percentages are. at the end of this race. And if anybody else says theirs. Six car is very fast though. He is just smooth, fast. He is definitely sideways though. Sideways is fast sometimes. Yeah, third place. Jeez, he lost so much time to me because of that lap car. Because he was like within a second on me for sure. And now he's 1.5 back. Leader keeps smacking the wall. Like just scraping it, not really smacking it. Because smacking it would really hurt his turning. He's just scraping it down the straightaways sometimes. When he goes to turn out for the corner. Which I feel like would mess up his entrance a lot. It messed me up a lot at least.
Man.
Didn't get on the gas early enough in that corner. Had a slow exit.
I got to run, you split up, and I crossed over into the corner.
Just happy there hasn't been anything too crazy in front of us.
My brakes for the corner, guy, you oversent the thing like crazy. I'll try my car right to begin with.
Brake for the corner? Who did that?
Like I said, I had to run up.
This is Daytona. You full throttle it. Push the guy in front of you.
Enter turn one, he tried to cut me off again. Didn't work.
Third place might have burnt out his tires trying to get around that lap car or something.
Yeah,
Not sure.
It's anticipation. I don't think they understand anticipation.
Nah, bad already.
So that lap car may have really gotten us second place, which is nice. Lap car really held up third place for a while because he was definitely catching us before those lap cars came. He'd have to catch me a ton in these last few laps, which I don't see happening.
And anticipating that someone's going to get a run out of the corner and be faster than you down the straightaway.
Six car is just so fast. I have to hope he like spins out for me to win this thing.
That's what I did. He split up in front of me, entering the corner. I crossed back over. I got under him and entering the corner.
He was like a tenth and a half faster than most people in qualifying that ran fours. He ran a 291, which is flying. That's the first time I've seen anybody get into twos.
I got in up two too hard and spun myself.
Oh, I was talking about the 11. I guess you both did.
My high line probably messed you up. I saw a fella run that for 20 laps, and I was wondering how the hell did he do it?
My spin out of turn 4 was an arrow push, so I got tight out of turn 4, and then when I got underneath him on the crossover, all the air got to my spoiler and I spun.
God, he is just so fast up there.
I wasn't even full throttle yet.
This is a talkative bunch too, which I don't mind that. I don't mind people talking in the race.
Yeah, Brandon, that was crazy, man. I was watching you do that. I was like, I don't know how you're doing it right now.
Yeah, the third place car must have burnt out his tires getting around that lap car or something.
And I can't get it nowhere near as consistent as the fella I saw do it, man. It was one of the most impressive things I think I've ever seen. He was staying above that dotted line like just.
Damn, I'm happy I got second though. Good race. I'm waiting for him to stop talking. Good race, Six. Good win. He was so fast, man.
Good win, good race, yeah.
I'm real interested to see what his tires were. I want to go back to the beginning where the guys were spinning out around us. Because 8 car went so hot in the turn 1, spun out, and then the guy, I think it was the 9 car? No, it wasn't the 9 car. He finished, oh, it might have been the 9 car. He finished 8th. I think it was the 9, I want to say. He spun out on the inside of us. Where were my tires at? Oh, yeah, I definitely burnt out my front right. I did not drive the right rear at all. Like, I really saved my right rear, which I'm happy about, but I burnt out the front right. My car just was not turning. But let's go back to the beginning here. You can see the 8 car out here. He went so hot in turn 1. Like, he braked really late and tried to turn down, and he just got sideways. He saved it, though. Nobody hit him. He stayed pretty straight. And, yeah, the 9 car was the one that was behind us on the inside. He was just diving it in the turn 1 really hard. And I was letting him have it. I didn't want to go that hard into turn 1 on cold tires. He's also taking that lower line in to just show that he's going to be there, I guess, if he was going to dive, which he was. He wasn't, like, diving from, like, 5 car lengths back. He just had, like, a deeper braking zone than I did. And on cold tires, I didn't want to do that. I really just did not want to deal with trying to get sideways that early in a race and wreck. Because what happened? Where did he end up going? How far did he fall back? It was good, close racing overall. Like, the 6 car was just so fast. Yeah, he went to go hit the gas right there. He was on the inside, and he had to keep that inside because he didn't have room to come all the way out. And as soon as he hit the gas, you could see the car step out on him because of the way he's turning. He has to turn so hard. Right about... where is it? Waiting for it. Right about there, it looks like the back end starts coming out on him because he's hitting the gas. But did he end up spinning it all the way around? No, he saved it off the wall, but he had to come to a complete stop and everything. So yeah, he lost a ton of ground. That's unfortunate for him. Where'd the 8 end up after his spin? He ended up way back there too, for the most part, because his was right in turn 1 where everybody was. But he saved it, it looked like, for the most part. I thought he kept rolling, but I guess not. 4 car barely missed him. He kept it rolling, just really, really slow. But everybody's right on top of each other. He just lost a ton of ground. But yeah, good race overall. 6 car was super fast there. Can't do anything about that. Like, he lost some time to the lap cars with me, and then I caught all the way up to him, but then I caught a lap car at a bad spot, but then he was just flying. I want to go there towards the end when we started catching those lap cars. We're just like a real slow lap all of a sudden. Did we catch him around there? No, I was like pretty much with him. Oh, right here, okay. Because the 7 car was catching me, man. He was flying. He was coming up through the field. Where did he start at? He started 8th, so he was coming up through the field for sure. I want to go back and actually see what happened to the 5. Because he was the one that ended up in a wreck up here. He was in 6th at the time. Oh yeah, the 1 went in real high. 5 car is going into the line for the outside. He's trying to take this line right here, and the 1 car just came up on him. Like, well, just didn't turn into the corner yet at all. Oh yeah, he said he doesn't blame the 5. Okay, interesting. Maybe he just wasn't talking, I guess, in the race. But I don't think he was expecting the 5 to turn that early, maybe. But he had a great run on him off of 2. Able to get his quarter covered up. But he just didn't turn into the corner. That's unfortunate for the 5. He was running pretty well. Luckily, he didn't get hit by anybody else, but he about spun out there, too. But what happened to the 7? Because once we caught the 5 on the front stretch, I luckily got by him because he was pretty quick, too. Because he was running in 6. It's not like he was slow. He got sideways there. But I think he just held up the 7 so much. 7 just couldn't get around him quick enough. I caught the lap car. Oh, no, the 14s held up the 6 a ton. That's what it was. 14 held up the 6. I got, like, within a car length of the 6, and then he was just gone after that. 7 car just never could get by him. 5 car was definitely slowing him up a little, for sure. The 7 car could get to his bumper, get to the inside, and it was just so hard to pass. Ooh, they about wrecked there. What happened there? Oh, 7 car overdrove that corner. That's what happens if you go in a little too low. You have to really brake early and stay low, or you're going to wash up the track like that. Luckily, they didn't wreck. 4 car was right with the 7 for a lot of the race. He was in 3rd for most of it, but oh, good race. 6 car was super fast. I think I burnt out my front right, didn't drive enough with my back right, but I was trying not to get sideways, which I successfully did. Stayed in 2nd after the initial start, and I'm happy we finished there. So definitely gained some iRating out of this, so let's go see what we end up getting out of it. Alright, results are in. Strength of field, 2359. Not a bad strength of field at all. What was the number 1 car? He was about 4,200. Lost that, though. We gained 54. Happy about that. Got over 3,400 now. That's awesome. I don't run the oval side enough to be a super high iRating or anything, but I feel like I'm respectable on my iRating on this side, at least. By dirt iRating is definitely better. It's over 4,000 right now, so I'm happy about that. I like running both, but I definitely like the dirt a lot more. But didn't run nearly a fast lap, I guess, because I ran like a mid-5, but I was really taking it easy in the beginning. The 6 car was so fast. I really wonder what his tires were, though. His back right had to have been probably under 90%, because mine was 92, and my front right was 84, but his front right might have been like 87, and maybe his back right was like 89, something like that. That's my guess, something like that. But he was so fast, able to counter the tightness with the loose, I guess. working it right, because he was definitely sideways a few times in that race, and he was able to save it without getting too squirrely and losing a ton of time. But hell, I'm happy with how we ran. We finished second out of this big field, 16 cars. Very happy about that. Ran very well. Didn't spin out, because the 8 and 9 both spun out right around me, which was terrifying. But that's what you have to do in these races. Just manage your tires, let people wreck on their own, and that will happen. You'll get a good result out of it if you can keep the car straight in races like this, especially when there's no cautions, because a lot of people ended up getting spun out or smacked the wall, wrecked themselves, something like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the race. It's a little different than normal. I've done 2 oval races in a row now, which is different than normal, but I had a ton of time this week and wanted to get some oval racing in because I always loved it, and I've done it for a long ass time. I just haven't gotten the time to do it with the amount of dirt racing I've been doing lately. So appreciate you guys for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see some more races, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.